big sweaty dicks. Sweaty dicks.
Sweaty.
Dicks. Sweaty dicks in my mouth.
The lioness went. I don't have anything to do with dicks. I'm sorry. I
Oh.
want another arpeggio, but I'm fuck that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Xwf Podcast with your host, Chronic Chris Page, them no good bastards, Thunder Knuckles, Bobby Bourbon, and yes, if available, Bearded War Pig. And the action starts now.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Xwf Podcast. We've got another good episode on deck for you guys today. We're gonna talk about some of the greatest tag teams that have graced the XWF with their presence. Cover a lot of information here as far as the art of being an effective tag team. I've got the all-star panel here for you today. Always joining us for the podcast, the co-hosts, partners in crime, OVW and XWF World Tag Team Champions. They know a whole lot about tag team wrestling, especially right now. Double champions. Them no good bastards. Bobby Bourbon, Thunder Knuckles. Bobby, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Okay, brother.
What's going on? I have to correct you. It's the OCW, not OVW.
Well, I can say it.
Just say.
I tried, and failed. It's like much like my recent histories, apparently. Also, on the podcast, you guys know him, you love him. He is the host or one of the hosts of Cock and Cuck in the Mornings. The one, the only Gator. Welcome, sir.
Hey, baby.
How are you, Daddy?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm always happy to be on the inferior podcast.
How does it feel to be out of the broom closet, brother? Welcome to the A Show.
I'm always happy to be out of the closet. I'm very proud to be out. And it's nice. It's very freeing and relaxing out here, I gotta say. There's not much room in the broom closet, especially with that big table and my granddad's urn full of cum.
Yeah. So you did get the table for the one show anniversary gift, right?
Yeah, of course. Built by Jesus Christ himself. It was a lovely gift.
Yeah, he's a hell of a carpenter.
I would say, yeah.
We've also got someone else near and dear to our heart, legend, the one, the only, Doc. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hi there. That Gator introduction was like a Duke segment on here. A waste of fucking airtime.
Oh,
wow!
Shots fired. In the first 3 minutes of the show, we take a small hiatus. We can't even get 3 minutes in before the shots get fired. Wow, Doc, you came out swinging, sir.
Sorry.
Don't apologize. Also, I don't know if he can chime in right now. We've also got another good friend of the show, JB. I don't know if you're there. If you can pop in, great. If not, we'll hear from you when you can. Oh, there you are, sir.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing this evening?
Man, we're living that dream, man. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Hopefully, we'll have a good show.
Oh, I tend to think that we're going to go off the rails at some point. It'll happen sooner rather than later.
No. I wonder why.
yeah, I know, right? Let's start tag teams. To me, I think that tag team role playing and tag team writing is kind of a very interesting art in its own right, especially if you have one handler who is handling two people within a team versus two individuals that are collaborating as a collaborative effort, which is interesting with having the Bastards and also having JB. The Bastards are obviously a team that does do a lot of collaborative work, and JP is another, or JB is another one of the writers that writes for an individual team in its own right. So it's going to be good to see those perspectives as we talk about what the true meaning, I guess, of tag team wrestling. Gator, let me come over to you first. What inspires you, or not inspires? I guess that may not be the best word to use, but what drew you into tag team role playing?
That's a good question. So first off, I'll say I have not prepared for this podcast at all. So, but I don't. Well, that's the thing. It's just working with people that you like. When I was Gator with Defiance, these two people I was with, Sane and Carvus, we got along great, over the Skype days, and we were wanting to role play together, and we just had a lot of fun talking and making up role plays, stuff like that. With Noah and Fuzz, the same thing happened. We just started talking behind the scenes, and then all of a sudden we just clicked, and then a big long tag team came out of that, and we worked really well with each other. It's just nice to just bounce ideas off another person instead of just being single mindset.
Get that? Excuse me. I see where you're coming from with that. Okay, man. Let me come over to you because you and Bobby here in the now are arguably as far as tag teams on not just in the XWF but as a whole. You're kind of cream of the crop.
Well, I wouldn't say all that. I think we would just work really well together. I'm going to echo the same sentiment Gator did. Just being able to work with somebody you like, we have the same kind of humor too, so that helps. So.
Yeah, I'll take it a step further. Now, to be honest, I didn't know we were talking about tag teams until just now. I thought this podcast was about manscaping, not just for the allure of your partner, but for the respect of your peers. But instead, we're talking about tag team wrestling, which is pretty similar to manscaping to me. Just to echo what both these guys said, legitimately, because yeah, it's fun when you get to bounce ideas off of somebody else, and just come up with stuff together, and just you have somebody entertaining you while you're trying to be entertained. If that makes any sense, that's the sweetest part of it, is that all while through the creative process, there's no lull, there's no down point where it's like, I've hit this roadblock, this writer's block. I constantly have feedback, and me and TK will just be coming up with stuff trying to make each other laugh. And he'll be coming up with stuff that's just, making me laugh, and and then we'll be talking, BSing, and then he'll say something or I'll hear something out of the blue and then just roll with it. It's like, oh, I gotta go type. I just heard something. It's great. Watch. It's gonna be great. And usually it's not great. But TK comes in behind it, tidies it up, polishes turds. They say you can't polish a turd, but TK has polished enough of my shit to make it sparkle and shine until Kingdom Come.
Doc, man, let me hit you.
Well, I don't really know how I'm supposed to follow that manscaping bit, but all right. I think you could have an entire career in the XWF or any E-Fed really, and have just constant singles matches, a single career. You know what I mean? By yourself, role playing by yourself, writing by yourself, thinking by yourself, and adding this tag team aspect to it opens up a whole new dimension. As far as the role playing goes, just pretty much echo everybody, everything everybody said. We're just working with people you like, even if you don't think you like them. You just happen to it's been known to just get thrown in a tag team match when booking really didn't have anything much to do with you, and you have 4 random people. Well, put them together, see how they work together. You know what I mean? Things have happened that way, and of course, plan things. But I never had any desire to ever hook up with anybody, and it didn't seem like my style of writing. I didn't really want to open up to ideas. I just kind of wanted to stick to what I was writing. But I forget when Soldier and I got together. It was like 2016 or something. Come to me with an idea, and I'm like, well, you are. He was pretty weird and kind of had a similar writing style, and I realized it kind of enabled me to open up different ways. And if you never take advantage of that, I think you're really missing out, because there's a lot of I think it improved me in a way to be able to work with other people and get different ideas and see how they write and collaborate. And I'm surprised, like we've seen it over and over again, where our tag team division just kind of goes up and down, up and down, up and down, where we have we go from 6 teams down to 2 in a heartbeat. And I really think a lot more people should take advantage, just to have that on the side, if it would come up. I'm not saying to always have like a faction or an alliance at all times, but
we're about to warp her mind as I go on YouTube, play a video about dogs.
What?
Hey guys, how's it going? That's an ad, not a video about dogs. We're gonna go ahead and so that way. Here we go. So this is Viola.
Bobby?
Yeah.
What was that in the background?
Huh?
Am I the only one that heard that, guys? Sorry.
No, I heard that.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. Like, there was something going on in the background. It was
Sorry
like some
about that.
ad.
Pause.
Yeah, that was one
fucking.
of my videos with my dog. But just don't you worry about it. I was looking at it and I didn't know that the volume was up. And I'm half asleep, and I have my dog in it, so I just had to stop and watch it. It's adorable.
All right.
Fucking.
I'm saying it now. TK, that stays in.
Yeah, fucking Doc said I was a waste of airtime. Fucking Bobby went to something different completely to cut him off.
Doc, I'm sorry, man, but pick up where you left off, brother.
I think I was closing on that thought, though. I was starting to ramble. So maybe that's why it happened.
All right, listen. Let me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
That's all right.
hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. JB, here's if you're available. I want to pick your brain real quick because you're a different perspective from this. You're a man who handles, a tag team by yourself. So what's your view on the tag team role playing aspect of it?
Okay. You see, I think from the tag team perspective, when you're writing, it's pretty awesome to write out like characters that you never would think of writing together. I come from like a mixture of like exploration and everything. Like when I thought of the thugs and everything as like a story, I thought from a perspective of like, okay, here are these 2 random guys getting paired up and everything. But here's the thing. I think in short, when it comes to tag team writing, I'm gonna keep this pretty brief. When it comes to tag team writing, I find the idea of it to be a good thing. So whether you're a single handler or you work with somebody, just working with people essentially as a team should just be a thing. That's my opinion.
My perspective on it is whenever I've done tag team stuff, it's been with another person. I've never been able to handle a complete team by myself. So the handful of times I've gotten into the tag team stuff, I've had a partner, and I've always kind of talked things over and collaborated out with them. I feel like that's to me is almost a winning combination, because you are getting to pick the brain of another individual and get that like almost instantaneous feedback, if you will. And I do think that nowadays people should embrace the fact of, kind of like Doc was saying, get together with somebody and do something on the side, because you never know where that can lead. Um, Obviously, my situation was with Robert Maine. The thing is Cataclysm, and a pretty good little run of it, and we'll get to all that in a little bit. But we were able to fire back and forth almost in real time, like, and see what was happening, and share documents and literally write shit out. As far as the XWF is concerned, Gator, you go back the longest, right?
I'm not too sure about that. Maybe by a couple of months. Not sure if JB was before me, though, actually.
All right, so it's a funny story. I was talking with Doc a little earlier, and we were looking at the history. I legitimately forgot that I held these tag titles back in 2012 as Tristan Slater. Do you know who my partner was?
Who?
Mark Flynn.
No way.
Yeah, it was apparently a thing, and I completely forgot about it. So to me, it's funny because the history goes back to early 2012, and based off of what I see, Slater and Flynn pick up the championships in October, in October of 2012. So we're technically the sixth champion of, as far as the history is concerned. And side note, Centurion, by the way, fuck you, because he canceled on us, guys. Just thought I'd let y'all know that.
Piece of shit. Never
Going back
trust
to
him again.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was so amped to talk to him and pick his brain about 2008 shit, and he just, just fuck you guys, got shit to do. Just, wow, that guy.
He had to manscape.
Is
Again,
this,
it's not
is this
like
episode
Manscaped-
sponsored?
Men, listen up. When it comes to keeping your privates in tip-top shape, use Manscaped's Lawnmower 4.0. Talking to you, Private Peters. It's time to shape and scape privates. This trimmer features skin-safe technology to help reduce the risk of nick and cuts when it comes to trimming privates.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I meant your actual privates.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
That was not an order. And because it's waterproof, you can trim the field, rain or shine. If you like power, the Lawnmower 4.0 has a powerful 7,000 RPM motor, a 4,000K LED spotlight, a wireless charging system, and it's even got a travel lock. So what are you waiting for? Get your privates ready for action and order your Lawnmower 4.0 today at manscaped.com.
So going back, like, I mean, I wasn't here too long after this, and I didn't remember a whole lot about this. I actually had to send Flynn a message to make sure that I was reading this correctly, and I just got that confirmation that it was definitely a thing, and it was a lot of fun for the characters at that point. Gator, what do you remember about tag teams when you came into the Fed?
When it
Anything
came in,
general, yeah. Anything, any teams back in? And when did you first come back into the Fed, or when did you start in the Fed?
it was
First
like
team?
mid 2014 roundabout.
Okay. Oh, that was back in 19. Gotcha. All right. So 2014. Backtrack.
God, tag teams, fucking hell. It's like back in the day, XWF, I don't think it's ever really had like the best like tag division, especially back in the day. The only ones I can remember really, because it was happened at Relentless, was the trio title, and that was Vinny Lane, Zoe Ryback, and someone else that I can't think of. And Vinny had a great story where he held all the titles at the same time because he thought he did the most work. And that's like the first like team that I can really remember. I can't remember for the life of me who were tag champs back then, or who were like.
Well, it's funny because like trios, Doc and I were chatting about this, and off air. The tag titles and the trios title, or the tag titles, like became the trios championship, right?
No, the trios were a separate thing, and I just got reminded it was Cheat Lou Senna who was also a member of the trios. Thank you, Duke, for that. But yeah, the tags and the trios were completely separate things.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Gator. Know that, and that's just the sad. This is a sad fact about tag team wrestling, or not tag team wrestling, but tag team fetting, because divisions do go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So that's one of the things that makes it difficult, right? To have solid division. Kind of like it sucks. That's one of the drawbacks to it. At what point did you start to see an influx? Like, what point is there a point in time that maybe you can remember? And Doc, too, you think about this as well, because I'm going to come to you with it as well. Is there anything that maybe that piqued your interest in it? They're like, oh shit, all right, so now something's finally happening. Is there something back then that you could remember? And it doesn't have to be like 2014, 2015. It could, just at what point is there something that you could be like, oh shit, okay, now I'm interested.
For me, like they added the Freebird rule like in 2014, which definitely made things a lot more interesting because like then bigger stables could like go after the tag titles then, which I thought was like a better idea because like everyone was like forming like big teams like back then as well, like like Doc's shit squad, whatever they were called.
Why they gotta be a shit squad, man?
But yeah, that's definitely something that I definitely piqued my interest into it because of the Freebird rules. Because I was in Defiance at the time when they were stated. So
Okay, all right. Well, that explains why you call it a shit thing. Okay, gotcha. So Doc, same question over to you, sir, because again, you and Gator kind of paralleled each other.
I would say I really seen an influx in the division or anything, or steady improvements with it, or a time where it piqued my interest. What would happen is you'd get like a really good team, like Defiance, like the Kings, like Trax and Lux Lydon, like the No Good Bastards. You get just a really good team that everybody wants to face, and that kind of Apex. Apex was another one. Cataclysm. That's what would happen is you get a really good team come in, kick everybody's ass, and then other teams would pop up wanting to have a chance against those guys too. That would be where the division would blow up for a little bit. And sometimes that team would just expire and we hit the reset and teams would kind of come together again and you'd have new champs. And looking at, there weren't always good teams either. Like there's a few 8-time champions on there and each time they had a different partner, you know what I mean? So it changed a lot.
I see what you did there. I mean,
What'd I do?
yeah, you know what you did, Daddy. I can only go back to like what recent history, what I remember is anything from pretty much 2019 on, which makes me feel like I feel like I'm overlooking like earlier tag teams. Excuse me. I want to say like Damn you sent. This is why you were supposed to fucking be here. I'm sorry. Excuse me 1 second. Guys. Sent was supposed to be here for all that, and he kind of screwed me. Blade and Steel was a team that Alias had brought up. I don't know if any of you guys were familiar with him. He was early 2008, 2009. See where things have come from back then to where we've come now. I feel like 2019 was when you had that roller coaster that kind of went up and went down. Oh, he's there. Sent. You're there.
Hi, folks.
Oh, he did show up.
I
So
snuck in last minute. Yeah.
We can take
And he
back
was
all
talking
the
shit.
we can take back all the bad things that I just said.
No,
about you
I heard it.
standing me
I
up.
heard it, so it's fine.
No, you didn't. You didn't hear
No,
all
you
of it.
didn't.
Bro,
No,
Oh.
you didn't. No, you didn't.
Born and stone.
Yeah, I was mad at you. So you're here. You snuck in the back door. Do you remember Blade and
Yeah, Steel and Blade, absolutely.
Steel and Blade? Okay,
Yeah,
So
yeah. The brothers are they Brothers of Destruction, Brothers of Chaos? No, Brothers of Anarchy, BOA, Brothers of Anarchy. That's what that was their.
see, this is why this motherfucker was supposed to be here at the top of the show.
Yeah.
I went into, like we were talking about earlier, ups and downs within the feds and this, that, and the other, and you've been around and was around the longest. So catch us up on some earlier teams that, you know, when they were in the Fed were some things.
Yeah. So Steel and Blade are probably the ones that are most notorious, I would say, just because they were a team from the very beginning. It was one guy who controlled two people.
Yes.
And so it was, he was, pretty, he was around for quite a while. The rest of the division ran into similar issues that we have now, which is that we would have one person, we have basically two people that would get together and maybe they win the tag belts or whatever, and they would drop them, and one of them wants to maybe go on to something else. I was going back and thinking of history. I mean, as much as I don't really want to shout him out, Nick Ryan had two tag teams. One with his brother Hunter, and then another one with Famine of the Vile, that were around for quite a bit. Myself and Tomoko, we were together for quite a bit. But I went through the old pay-per-views just to sort of do a little bit of research on this, and I couldn't see any like long-term title holders. It was almost like we swapped those belts all the time. And the names that did carry them for a while are names like MC Terrible and the Savior. You probably don't know those two names, but they held the belts for like 4 or 5 months.
I've never heard of them before, but I mean, I get it. Like back in that time frame, it was hot potato. So if you kind of had them for a hot second, you
there is one
something.
other team. There's one other team I'm forgetting, and that is, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. And that was Outsiders, Stone, and Hardcore Smitty.
That was another one that I was. Someone had said something to me about earlier this week, and I forgot to mention them too because they were. I remember when I was coasting in and out in that time frame, that they were always a thing. It didn't matter what was going on. They were a thing.
They were pretty awesome.
Moving into like more modern stuff. Let me circle back around because I think we had dropped JB earlier. I was going to come to you. At what point did you come into the Fed? And did you, when you came in, did you already have your eye on the division?
Okay. Well, personally, in with that question, honestly, not really. I didn't have a goal in mind to be in a tag team or make a tag team because I thought like, they're like for as long as I've been on the site, I've seen like a lot of teams come and go, and I felt like I don't know how strong the tag division was. So, and like, like piggyback what Mr. Senti said, like, I know from his timeline, from my timeline are hella different, but like, I didn't see myself ever being involved with any tag division of any kind. But over time, I have gotten the idea to just run with that division as a whole for the sake of just to see what other teams I could work with and all that. So that's my personal preference on that one.
Got you. Um, Gator and Doc, when the trios titles came into the mix, how hot did they get? Was it something where it garnered that attention, or you know, were there trio teams that stood out in your mind?
I think we got rid of them twice, didn't we? Or were they around that entire time till we merged them later?
Yeah, I think they were gone like so many times because the division was so limited. But yeah, it was gone pretty much.
Let's get to because Sint, you came in right before I did in 2019. Um, Peter, you were in the equation. I think Doc, you were on hiatus. JB, I believe you were in the equation. TK hadn't yet made his debut in the Fed. I think Bobby, you may have been on hiatus too. The first thing that my mind goes to was the 5-2 Mafia. And when they got a hold of the tag championship, I was like, all right, this could be fun. And I got to go up against them in I guess it was a tournament to crown the tag champions with Tristan Slater for a while. We got crushed. And I think they went on to win that tournament. I don't know if it was a tournament for the championships or if it was, I can't remember that far back.
Yeah, it was the tournament for the championships, I'm pretty sure.
So, someone rack my brain here. Was the 5'2" Mafia, were they before or after Maine and Argyle?
After.
Okay.
Maine and bed.
I would say they were the first ones that I really remembered in terms of coming back and being like a dominant tag team.
I mean, there's a lot that's transpired. I mean, the division itself had its ups and downs. There were some interesting circumstances. Yeah, going back to I'm scrolling through this history now, and I see where I think there was a point in time where Chris Chaos and Jim Cadis were tag champions, and the Engineer cashed in a briefcase on Chris Chaos, and a loss. He and Jim Cadis were tag champions, which I think that would be funny, or a funny situation to have seen play out.
So, before we move forward on that, I've got a similar story that goes back several years, which is that Roxy Nova and I, when we were both in the Prophecy, won the tag belts together. And at one of the pay-per-views, they had all the belts it was arranged in a cage, and all the belts were going to be up, and it was going to be a random draw. And both tag belts would have been defended individually. And I actually got beat by Zach Rizza in my match. So Roxy and Zach Rizza, I know it's one of my worst losses ever. Between that and Chasm were the two worst losses ever taken in my life. But then so it was Roxy and Zach Rizza that were the tag belt champions after that, which I think there's a reason why Roxy retired not long after that, because she was forced to tag with Zach Rizza.
Ouch. Let's go back and talk about Apex because they ran with the belts for a while, and this very well could have been one of the situations to where you get two really good guys that have the straps. What for any, if either I begin before my time, so if anybody on the call, what about that tag reign uh, made it stand out? I mean, because I know that everyone chases a record, right? Like they want to be the longest reigning champions ever. I think this would be the first team that really set that bar, unless I'm mistaken.
I think this is a good question for Gator, because not only does his history kind of go back modern wise more so than the rest of us, but he's also been ingrained with the tag division for quite a while. So
Okay, you're gonna have to repeat that question because I was drinking very heavily through that.
Going back to Apex, do you think
Oh,
that this would be the team that would have set the bar? Or
yeah, I think Apex is definitely like the spark that reignited like the tag division, and I think that's what he really aimed to do as well. So yeah, they definitely set the bar. They definitely put some like piss in the tag division as well. Got everyone like riled up. And then from then, I think, like you said before, like 5-2 Mafia, they were such a good team, so dominant. And I think from that point on, like the tag division's gone, it's best it's been in like a long, long time. And I think from Apex to 5-2 Mafia to maybe the sitcoms, like the tag team division's got so much better since then.
Doc, what about you? Were you around when in the Apex era of the tag titles?
No, but I was around when those guys were around. Like yeah, they won the titles off of whom?
Hmm. I ran with them. I think that if you can run with the belts as long as they did, they definitely kind of top this.
For sure, for
Um,
sure. But you brought up Chaos and Cadis having them there, and Engineer doing the thing, cashing in earlier.
yes.
Chaos and Cadis were accidentally tag team champs. They won a battle royal, and that's when the Kings relinquished the belts, so they become random champions. So Engineer, I think, took advantage of that because he wanted to team with Cadis maybe, and shortly after that,
I
I'm
think
pretty
it's
sure
brilliant.
Apex
I think
jumped
it's
in.
brilliant to use a cash in on a tag title. I think that's brilliant.
He's going to do it again.
Oh no, that was that was a while later.
Like, honest to God, like Corey's got a briefcase right now. All eyes on Alias, but all we know, TK is going to get the boot soon, and then fucking no good Corey's is going to be a thing.
If you want the ultimate care package, check out the Performance Package 4.0. You'll get the Lawnmower 4.0 and the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer.
You smell that?
I sure do. I think it's coming from down in your trenches. Luckily, Manscaped includes the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray.
A refreshing spritz that's vegan and paraben-free?
I love the smell of ball toner in the morning.
Oh, I mean, I think now, I do think that the division over the last year and a half, 2 years, has had more of an upward trajectory. JB, over the course of your run within the XWF, it's lengthy. You go way back. Give me some of your top teams that you yourself have actually been able to work with that you've enjoyed.
Okay. Oh Lord. Okay, I would have to say the top three I can think of on top of my head was I Centurion and Ruby. They're a very interesting team dynamic. I love their work. The second has to go to obviously Sick Cunts. They brought the A game out of me, and let me tell you, it was pretty interesting on the dynamics. And the last team, I don't remember their names, but those were the top two so far I recall seeing. And truth be told, like the from where I've seen the tag division from from like 2012 or 13 or whatever onwards has really brought out a lot of like dynamic and a lot of like a sense of like unity amongst the site itself and the e-fetters because when you think about it, you can work with a lower tier team or higher tier team or any team for that matter. But like I think like for as long as I've been seeing a lot of teams coming in and out, I feel like we're going upwards in this division. Yeah.
Sidebar: Doc says goodbye, you guys. He had to roll. Mountain Man's at work, so he said he would join us again on another episode. Let me come over to you, TK, or you, Bobby, because when you guys pop back in, you pop back out. Bobby? What do you remember as far as tag teams are concerned from your various runs within the Fed?
Well, I'm not Bobby Bourbon, but whenever I came in, the 5-2 Mafia was already a thing, I think. Unless they won them at the Relentless that I showed up and I was unaware. But from the time I could remember, they were the bee's knees. They were really good. Those two work really well together. The Sick Cunts, probably my favorite tag team. Just saying.
Oh, shucks.
Fuck Cataclysm.
Yeah, I'm sorry as well. Cataclysm, fucking stupid name. You should feel bad about yourself.
Don't look at me. Look at Robert. I just said, okay, bro. Centurion, let me come over to you. So, what you've seen over the last years or so, as far as tag teams, chat me up.
So I will say, it seems like we now have a stability within the division that we haven't had in a while. I would say starting from Apex. I mean, I'm looking through this this title history here. Apex took it from the Midnight Dolls, and then from there, I mean, you're looking at two reigns a year essentially. I mean, these are long reigns between 5-2 Mafia, the Sick Cunts, the last five. I mean, the last five champions have held it for months, which is a really good thing for the division. And I think it also shows that with the advent of things like Discord and Twitter, that people are more willing to work together and stay more focused in the long haul. So you don't have a situation where, like in the old days, right now, the No Good Bastards would be looking to drop the belt because one of them wanted to go for a singles title. Like that's just what would have happened back then. But they enjoy working together so much right now, they seem like they are in it for the long haul. And to have a target makes other people want to then turn around and go after them. So I think the tag division is in just a great place at the moment. We could do with more tag teams. In my personal opinion, we've got I think it's pretty top heavy. I will say I do enjoy Billy Blankenship and that whole deal. I think that I get such a kick out of those promos and stuff. And hopefully that's just a begin with the new tag rules. It's just the beginning of more teams and new teams coming in and rising.
That's something that that we can definitely touch on, because previously, back like I mean, my track record is the same thing, TK, but is yours is 5-2 Mafia. To me, was kind of the blasting cap. Uh, when the Sick Cunts won the tag titles, that was when Robert and I were like, okay, let's try this. And it was just because, hit the buzzer or the ding. Worstein and Noah were kind of the two hottest acts in the Fed at that point. And we picked it up from them and had that big run that led to Continuum. They had their 4.5 month run, which got to the Bastards, who now have them currently. It's like the transition of champions has only gotten stronger, and the cohesiveness of the teams has only gotten better. Um, would you say that that's a safe assessment, TK?
I would. Them no good bastards formed to take out Cataclysm, but unfortunately, Continuum got to him first. But I would say the 5-2 Mafia for me. I mean, I've only been here for as long as that has been a thing, so I would say they had a good lengthy run, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they went
like
for
4 months. Yeah,
several months. Yeah. And it's just, I think it's in a position to where, like the as far as the XWF is concerned, we're in a spot where when or if anybody can put it together to knock off the Bastards, they've just made themselves instant stars. I think that's
I won't say if it'll be a win situation. I mean, that's the fucking whole point of all the digital pixel titles, bro.
I was just trying to fucking put you guys over, but cool. We won't do that no more. So when someone kicks the shit out of them no good bastards,
Much better.
It's gonna mean so much more to them. Where would you guys like to see the division progress to from here? Like, it's always going to be that roller coaster ride. We know that. What more did you see? What do you think would enhance tag team riding? JB, I want to start with you.
Okay, well, I would personally say, okay, so I feel like if there's more of initiative to be like, okay, besides having like random throwaway tag matches of some kind or whatever, why not build something with somebody? Like, give the incentive of like, okay, if you work with somebody maybe for like a day, for like a week or whatever, through like a Discord or Twitter or whatever, like it should give some kind of like advantage for somebody to like work with somebody else. Like, give them the initiative of like, yes, you will be like, there could be like a ranking system for the top tag teams or whatever, like how AEW be doing that ranking system thing. They could do the same thing for the tag division for people that are willing to work with each other, or just have like those kinds of like lethal lottery kind of ordeals once in a while, of course. But like what I'm saying is like basically find a way to incentivize people to work together as like a team in terms of like tag team styles of writing and all that, because I feel like the more you work with somebody in the EFED world, I feel like you don't have to be like on keen with everything they say or do, but if it's for the sake of the story between your characters, depending on the scenario or the outcome, that could be something that they can head towards to just give an incentive for people to work together. So yeah.
I think we're headed in the right direction. I do think that the implementation of the new tag rule uh, is a really even playing field across the board. Um, Sin, let me come over to you. Where do you want to see us go from here? Where could we go as far as a Fed with the tag team division?
So I had a vision that if Ruby and I, if we had the long shot win against the Bastards, we were basically going to do a sort of a tour of all the different brands, and that we were going to make. I mean, even Anarchy. The tag titles are just going to be multi-branded, and we would have sort of stories that cross all of the different brands, and I think that's where we go. I know it's tough in e-fetting to have separate brands because people still want to compete in other places and storylines cross and all the different kind of stuff. So it's different, but I think that for the tag division to really work itself out, it has to be a spectacle, and it has to be. You almost don't need to have it defended on pay-per-views. I mean, it's a good thing to do it, but as long as you have them regularly defended on the main shows, like the branded shows as you go along, and make them a big deal. I think that's it's almost as if it separates themselves from everybody else. That's where I think would be the way to go with it.
Bobby, are you there?
Again, I'm not Bobby Bourbon, but I think with the new rules, I think more people will be interested in doing the tag team thing. It's not as much work. You can still work with somebody. I think it's going to do a lot of good for the tag team division in and of itself. I really hope more people try it because it is a lot of fun. Most fun I've had since playing this with everybody has been this whole tag team, them no good bastards.
Gator, what's your thought process on it?
Just to echo like what TK said and what Sense said, what you said, the new IP rules are probably one of the better ideas Vinny Lane has had, and he's had a lot of terrible ideas as well. So
I was gonna say he's good for like one a year.
Yeah, definitely. Like a broken clock is right once a day, and Vinny Lane is definitely a broken C word.
So we've reached our quota.
Exactly. 2022 is I don't know what he's going to do, but it's going to surprise me. I'm going to be very happy with it. But yeah, the new IP rules I think are great. Them no good bastards. No, they suck my dick a little bit, and this podcast is all about sucking dick. Them no good bastards are by far the best tag team I've seen while playing this game, and I think how they won the OCW tag titles as well. I think it's a really good idea for tag teams to kind of go to another Fed and try against the other tag teams there. Because finding a good tag team, finding two good people that work well with each other and make a good tag team is very, very, very rare. And I think showing that off and going to other Feds to try against their talent is a really good idea.
The thought process behind that is piss everybody off, make them want to come here and face us for ours. So
yeah.
I think
how's that working out for you?
I think we're doing a decent job. We are pissing people off, but I don't know about coming here to try to take ours.
Well, and honestly, to kind of echo on that, to bring a real world situation into e-fetting, It reminds me a lot of that, like a couple of years ago, tag era when you had like the Broken Hardys and the Young Bucks that would jump basically all over the world and compete against other teams from all over the world. And it was probably the most interesting that we've seen in sort of the real world a tag division be in a very long time. And so to have the Bastards basically do that same thing only in EFED setting, not only elevates it for our Fed, but I think it elevates it to a lot of other Feds as well, because you don't have an invader coming in going for the big belt, right? Like that's the easy thing to do. That's, I'm going to show up to randomfed.com and I'm going to go after their world title. No, here's a tag team. We're the best tag team in the world. We want anyone to show up and beat us on our turf. And if you're not going to do it, we'll come beat you on your turf.
Absolutely, yeah. That's brilliant.
I don't think you can say it any better than that. I'm going to shoot over to some questions. I'm going to start randomly, kind of asking these out sporadically. JB, since you've been, as far as you've been here, and this would be for everybody too, the best team to never hold the tag titles in the XWF.
Oh Lord. Okay, so I know that's might sound a little off, but I would say, I can remember. Okay, I actually wrote this down. Okay, so I would personally say one of them has to be, obviously, this name is hella old. The Suge sisters. So they were like a tag team that were sisters who were pretty but could kick your ass. Damn shame that they didn't last long in the site, nor were able to get the titles, because from the stuff I've seen from them in terms of their quality as a team, it was pretty good for me personally, because it was just like, two sisters who are pretty who can also kick your ass. It's just awesome. And then these are two modern people. Y'all know who I'm going to say. I would have to obviously say big shout outs to Mark Flynn and North Korea War Criminal. Those two, good. If they ever get the tag titles before the Thugs, awesome. And my third, although they're new, I would have to also give a shout out to the Can Jap Connection with the whole cornet aesthetic and everything and all that. I just feel like those guys, if they could get the titles, that would be amazing. But if they don't get the titles, I would probably say these are the top three teams I would say that would maybe or maybe not get the tag titles, but who knows what the future might hold. So,
TK, best teams that you've seen in the XWF to not hold the tag titles.
Well, everybody knows my time here has been limited, so there aren't very many tag teams, or wasn't. There are now. There's quite a few now. But the team of Big D and Ned together, I think they went up against the 5-2 Mafia, and they did a really good job together, if I remember correctly. The Thugs.
See, that was my answer. But
was it?
That was my number one.
Yeah, that was mine too.
And Marf and Lycana. Be real about it. They haven't won it yet, but I mean, it's only a matter of time, right?
Oh, yeah. Gator, is there anything that you can add to that? And then Cent, think about it, because you've whacked the longest, so I'm sure there's teams out there that never got them back in the day. Gator, anything that you can add to that?
Only that you're an arsehole for making me go third. Because
I'm sorry, Princess. You didn't have top billing in that one.
I know, it's okay, baby. I understand my role in your life. But yeah, again, folks, and you, Marth and Lysana, Notorious B.I.G., Notorious Big, the whole would have been cool. But yeah, definitely folks as well, because like Tommy Wish was my first match here as well, and I got a lot of love and respect for JB. So it would be nice to see him pick up the tag titles at one point, and with the new IP rule, I definitely think it's achievable for them. But yeah, so yeah, Folks is definitely my number one.
That
Peter Gill himself.
we don't say that word.
Wow,
On the show.
you just got censored. How do you feel?
Thinking back, because I don't remember who did not, because they swapped so many times. Like, did Aiden Collins and Drake Komodo win it? I don't remember exactly, but they were an awesome tag team. Big Rig and Silver Bullet, when they were with Flatline Crew, I would give them sort of the rub. Rage and Lunatic, I can't remember if they won or not. But it felt like anybody who were established tag teams back in the day got at least one run. So it's real hard to say. That's why you have to go to modern times. And I mean, the names that you guys have said, Thugs, Marf Lycana. Yeah, I mean, those are the two sort of big ones that I would say. Ned and Big D is another good callback. The Stephen Cooper and what's his face Stone, Edward Stone with an O.
Eobard.
Yeah, Eobard Stone. Yeah. So, but I hate to have recency bias because I go back so far, but the names that all come to mind are all far more recent. Just because back in the old days, like I said, they'd swap so many times that everyone got at least a cup of coffee with it.
Yeah,
Hey,
sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, like just to add
go ahead.
on. Sorry. But yeah, like what Centurion said, like I was trying to think back to when I first started as well, and it's like it's hard because like teams that started up and like joined together like back then as well, like if they started a team, they would eventually hold the titles. But like we said, like Apex and like 5-2 Mafia definitely put a spark in the division. So we're seeing more teams now that haven't held the tag titles than we did back then. So it's a lot more easier to think more recent days than it is back in the day.
Definitely, and that's why I was kind of like, all right, we'll shift towards more modern era stuff because that's where my head's at, and that's where
Paige.
Yeah.
Did you and Ronma hold the belts at all?
Negative.
Okay, I would put. Were you two were a team though in XWF? Because I know you were in WG.
Let's go into our next question. Teams that you would like to see but never saw, or people that you'd like to see team up but never saw. Rama and I, we teamed up in WGWF, and we teamed up here once, and I want to say that it was the first reunion show. I think we headlined against Dante and Aiden Collins.
That sounds right.
Which we won.
Of course.
If you're using deodorant on your armpits, don't you think it's time for long-lasting protection on your groin grenades? That's why Manscaped also includes the Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant.
Fire in the hole!
Attention! Looking smooth, privates. Looking smooth. Get your privates ready to engage by ordering the Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped today. Receive free worldwide shipping, a free pair of Manscaped boxer briefs, and a free Shed travel bag.
But teams that you would, or teams and/or a pairing that you'd like to see, never saw. If you could put a dream team together, who would it be? Stump Centurion.
Oh, you're going with me first.
Yeah. That's why I said, "Hey, Centurion."
Oh well, okay. Hell, that's tough. That is real tough.
We circle around.
Yeah.
Okay. JB, you've been here for God knows how long, for fucking ever. Here's some people that you think would have made a really good team.
Well, I would personally say that the team of Morbid Angel and Unknown Soldier. That team is all unholy and all that. That would have been perfect. Unholy, Unholy Alliance circa 2013 or some shit. That would have been perfect. And then another team, I would say, is like Prax and Andre Dixon. Like two of those guys as a team would have been a perfect kind of like machismo duo who are cocky and arrogant, think that they're the top dog in a league of their own type of thing. Would have been perfect. So I would have loved to see those kinds of teams at that time.
Gator.
Stroking my own ego a little bit, I guess, but myself as Gator with Vinnie Lane, Doc, and LH Harrison, because we were all like friends back in the day, and we had the band that we gimmicked and like did segments about and shit. And I think us as actual proper team would have been a lot of fun. Apart from that, Morbid Angel and Eli James. Kind of going off JB, it's like it's the unholy and the holy, because Eli was kind of like a preacher at the time, and Morbid Angel is Morbid Angel, and I think that would have worked really well together, and like they would have bounced off together really well. So that I would have loved to see.
Okay.
Well, I've got two. One person I would like to work with, which would be Dick Powers. And
you want to play with Dick?
I would put Dick right beside TK. Just
Thundercock.
Yeah, Thundercock. That is a wonderful name. Ball
Oh no
knuckles.
Lightning Rod.
Lightning Rod. Perfect. And a team I would like to see formed together, and I think it's possible. It might not be possible, but Duke and Dolly. I think Duke and Dolly as a team would be spot on.
Yeah, let me come back around to you with that.
Well, so I'm going to have a couple of names that you probably haven't heard of, and quite a few names that you have. So one that you haven't heard of, Gravy and Gecko. They were both sort of like Heart title guys. But they complement each other very well. I just think they were like two ships crossing the night. At the one left when the other was coming in, but they would have made a really just sort of fun tag team together. James Raven and the Brand would have been. The only issue I have with that is that's two like strong uni title guys being merged together. But it would have been great to see how they would have worked on each other, because their role play style would be very complementary to one another. Seeing someone like K Money work with the Thugs would have been a very sort of neat thing to see, or even like Suicide as well, to working with the Thugs. And then more modern era, Dolly Waters and Vita Valentine, I think would be a really neat tag team dynamic.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
I like that.
Yeah. And Thad and Sebastian Duke.
You want to see the father-son combo?
The father-son, just because I don't think we've ever actually seen it in XWF history. And so it would be neat to see what kind of work Thad could do, having to sort of use that dynamic and put it in storyline.
See that. I think I could see that the whole way around. Me personally, I don't know, and this would be a throwback. I don't know if it ever happened or not. Raven and Ranma. I don't know if they ever teamed before.
Yeah, they wouldn't have teamed.
I think that they would have been a phenomenal team. Here's a name for you, and this is purely a comedy team, not to be serious, be taken seriously. I'm gonna say the Honky Lighthouse and the Sentinel Minyatsuken.
Now, that is a formidable team that I don't think could ever be beaten.
I think that's comedy gold if we're doing comedy writing.
No, you said when you said Honky Lighthouse, I thought you were going to do a throwback to probably the greatest tag team of all time, which is Rod Masatomi and QC Thug.
Queen City Thug. It was just thinking about that. But no, I fucking missed that one.
They have a 14 RP limit, and Rodman would do 13 of the role plays.
Yep, no, he'll give you one. Yeah, just do one. More modern, or more up to our speed. I like the idea of a Thad Dolly team. I like the idea of a Dolly Vita team. I you know it's really really tough, and I'm gonna say if there were two people that I'd like to see team up, I would say I'd want to see. Oh man, I don't want to say that. Oof. Tell me later. I want to see Alias and Doc team up once to see the dynamic between both of them. I think that would be very interesting.
I would have loved to
very
see.
nasty team.
I would have loved to see a long-term team up with Atara and Betsy.
Who's that?
Atara Themis and Betsy Granger.
I thought that they've teamed up. Have they not? Are they?
They
they're
did,
not
but it was very short-lived, and I would have loved to have seen it sort of extended and see just how far they could have gone with it.
Yeah, I can do that. Excuse me. Do you guys? I mean, do you think that? Here's something just to kind of wrap your minds around. About a Lackland Dolly Waters tag team.
Yeah,
That would have been good, yeah. Because I think they faced each other at March Madness as well, didn't they?
I believe so.
yeah, they were the finals, I think.
Next, the next question I've got. This is, and all these are from Ruby, by the way. Good friend of the show. Love you, Rubes. It's going to be about tag team finishers. What makes a good tag team finisher, and what would be your favorite? Okay, let me go over to you first.
Well, it's obviously the Rainbow Laser Death sequence.
That goddamn foot DDT's a son bitch. Got me. What's your favorite, TK? I mean, and what makes it so great?
It's just a combination of the two characters, man. Like, if you could come up with a move that, both characters do. I mean, shit. I don't know how to answer that.
Gator, let me go over to you. What makes a good tag team finisher? What's your favorite ones? What makes
Obviously,
it stick out?
it's the Rainbow Laser Sequence Death thing. Obviously.
See, Gator knows.
Obviously. No, I get to agree with TK. Like, it's if a combination of both the wrestlers like finishes together, like it always makes a really, really good move. Again, I don't want to talk about myself, but I always like to, when me and Fuzz were together. Oh God, I can't remember what the fuck it was called. I'll save my life. I think it was called Kingmaker, and it was because Noah's finisher was a donkey punch called a King Hit, which was Superman punch to the back of the head. And in the sick cunts, Noah did a punch to the back of the head, a Superman punch to the back of the head, and Fuzz did a Superman punch to the front of the face. And I always liked the image of that as well. Trying to think of others. Honestly, it's just them no good bastards. Like the name is and effing about it is just perfect. Like there's nothing else I can think of apart from that now.
JB.
Well, I'm in the majority of everyone in this chat right now saying the No Good Bastards finisher, but I have to also give a second shout out to Yin Yang, this new team. They called their version of the heart attack the equalizer, and the idea of having someone placed in like that bear hug thing, and then someone just does like a whole leg drop combination while slamming them simultaneously instead of a clothesline, just seems kind of cool. I don't know if it's be practical compared to the old school heart attack, but in the modern age, like, a clothesline is a clothesline and a slam is a slam, but like doing a whole entire leg drop while somebody slams them down simultaneously, it's kind of cool. But I have to also give my first shout out to that rainbow laser death sequence. Combination of two finishers in one. Forget about it. Forget about it.
Okay, we got that some bitch over at Relentless last year, didn't we?
Yep.
Sorry, as well. I gotta ask TK and Bobby. Like, have you done the other move as well, where each of you grab like separate leg and done a DDT at the same time?
No, not yet, but it's on there.
Oh,
Nobody's
needs to
used
be
it
one.
yet.
Centurion, let me go to you for that question.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when you have a name like the Rainbow Laser Death Sequence, I mean, it's gonna get over. It's so easy. It's like so fun. It's just read it in the results. Whoever writes results for the Bastards puts that move over so well that it's almost fun to read. So like again, recency bias, but they are up there. Um, Steel and Blade had a good one, which was they would do a double spear, though one would go sort of do a chop block low, and the other one would gore from the front. So you'd basically have like Blade would come in and take out the knees, and then as the person gets down and kneels down, that's when Steel would like take their head off with the gore from the front. Which if you imagine that in real life would just blow all of your ACL and whatever CLs you have in your body. So those are the two that I can recall, but I can't recall the name for their finisher. But I think I will always remember the Rainbow Laser Death Sequence.
It's going back to. I mean, I guess I'll just echo the sentiments of everybody else and go ahead and get that load on the face from the Bastards with the Rainbow Laser Death Sequence. Next thing I got for you, we've already kind of talked about the new tag rule and kind of what our hopes for that is, and that we kind of all hope that it brings some more people together. Dolly Waters asked for them No Good Bastards. This is a three-parter. Number one, how did you come up with? How did you two come to form your team? Which I think you've already kind of covered. Was to come after Cataclysm.
Correct.
Okay, so in the early days, was it more difficult to get on the same page, or did you guys have that instant chemistry?
We had an instant chemistry. Obviously, we got better as we went along, right? Like most people do. But really,
Sure.
we kind of have the same humor. You know what I mean? And we both like to talk trash, so that was super easy. That's pretty much it.
Is Bobby back in the mix?
Bobby's the greatest, so it's not hard to tag with somebody who's the greatest, right?
Is Bobby in the mix?
I am not the greatest. I'm sorry. I'm a bag of just mess right now, but I just heard all the kind things that PK just said. They're all lies. We were not on the same page ever. We constantly bicker and then argue with one another. It is the worst experience I've ever had. Well, yeah. We started talking about like teaming up, and just started kicking ideas back and forth, just creatively. And again, I think I touched on it earlier on in the podcast. A lot of what I write, and nowadays at least, and a lot of the stuff that we get posted, it's just you know kind of me and him trying to break the other one. I know that if I write something or come up with something that breaks him, makes him laugh, then it's good. Um, and again, it helps out the process.
Part three of this would be from you guys. Bobby, coming to you first. What's some advice that you could give, or do you have for the newer teams, or anyone that may be thinking about jumping into the tag team division?
Um, don't be afraid to share your ideas. Don't be dismissive of somebody else's ideas. You know, keep an open mind. Remember you're going to exist as an entity beyond yourself.
That pretty much sums it up.
That's your favorite saying.
Yep.
This is more of a general question. Centurion, I'll come to you first up there. 9 months of 2021, there's only been two champions. Do you think there's some pros and cons for that sort of title run? Uh, or in more fluid tag divisions, the titles would change hands a lot more often. So I guess ultimately do you think that there are pros and cons for having the lengthy title runs?
I mean, there are pros and cons to the shorter reigns. I mean, it gives people accomplishments, and if you need sort of that boost to give you sort of validation of your work, then I could see that being the positive. But I like it more this way than I did the old way, just because it makes storylines easier to plan out, and it gives people things to work towards. Right now that the bastards, win or lose the belts, they're going to be around and they're going to be a team, and another team that wants to come in is going to want to take them on, to challenge your stuff against that team. And you can plan. I mean, you can play the tag division basically all the way up to January of next year, just based upon who's there and who is going to be sort of part of it. Now, real life situations always sort of throw a wrench into things when it comes to uh, e-fetting and stuff. But back when it was more fluid, you would have a tag team form, and 2 weeks later they would be champs. Whereas now you have to work your way up. And I think that provides a lot better of a story and better role plays to be able to read, because it actually gives context to what they're doing.
Maybe.
I would personally say that the idea of having a static tag title run where it's just like two people holding the belt, depending on the reigns, could. But I would think like the idea of having the longest reigning tag champions for XWF to have that formidable team to come in and be like, okay, we fight for what is ours and da 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 da. So I find that idea to have a long reign to be a good idea to build off of, a storyline perspective, like what Centurion said. I think when you have something planned out and then you have that one team that has been through it all can come after the tag champs and all that. And I would say the cons of a long reigning tag champion, it could lead to the idea of like, well, I don't really see myself ever getting it because I don't think I'll have the satisfaction of I put in like work for say 6 months to a year, give or take, and I still have yet to reach for that mountaintop or the glass ceiling, so to speak. But that's neither here or there. Now, I would personally say if there was more of a fluid tag division where we have, as they would say in the industry, hot shotting the tag titles. Now, yes, people would love to have that fleeting moment of success, but sometimes it could be a detriment because, like Centurion said, he basically point out like there could be some flaws in that. People might want to split up. People might think they're too good for the tag titles and just be like, fuck it. Then like one day they're like, oh yeah, we're champs. Next day they're like, fuck this. Or to the point that you just put it on a team just to put it on a team that you could tell that they might be in it for like maybe for a good amount of time before they say like like whether it be real life or being burnt out creatively or whatever. But overall I would personally say like depending on the factors, I feel like if there was more of a fluid tag team situation, there should be an opportunity for a team who's going to go for the long haul to hold the belt and do what they got to do with it. So yeah.
Gator, I don't think we're beating that.
Nah, probably not. I'm also on my fucking fifth glass of whiskey, and it's 2:30 in the morning, so there's no chance I'm beating that.
The last piece of this question from Dolly is outside of the current tag teams. I'm not going to name all of them off. Take 4 singles wrestlers and make 2 teams out of them. TK, let me come over to you first.
Ooh.
Kind of armchair quarterbacking with the
I'm trying to think.
people off the roster.
Well, let's just see who's online right now. Centurion and Mark Flynn. Oh shit.
Can't use Flynn.
Can't use Flynn.
Can't use Sant either because he's
No.
in there with the Tribune.
Oh.
I'm about to say that.
Oh. Well, Alias?
And Atticus White.
And Atticus White. That would be a good one. No, but seriously, Alias, Doc, I mean, we've already named that team. Corey and... Shit, man. Barney Green.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Barney Green and Corey. Alias Barney Green.
Barney Green and Corey could actually be very interesting.
Yes, it could.
Yeah, I like that actually.
Give me, 4 quick names. Rapid fire. First 4 that pop into your head.
Well, Dolly and Vita covered that already. Betsy and Addie covered them already. Those are the 4 I'd go with.
Yep, that's
Gator.
decent.
Fuck. Alias and Darren Dangerous. Fucking Big D and Big Rig. They could be Team Big.
JB, give me 4 names. First 4.
Okay, I got Flex Jones, E-Board Stone, Elijah Martin, Latina Submission Machina. I would say Flex Jones and Elijah Martin as the Street Sweepers, and E-Board Stone and I just said LSM as the heroic submissionist.
Wasn't Eobard the one?
Yep.
I think
Is that the one that
They're an Avalanche Stone. Can't use Stone.
Yep, they're an Avalanche.
Wasn't there something else that happened to that one?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. So last question, and we'll kind of tie a bow on this one. What's the most creative use of the collaboration that you guys could remember seeing? This one comes from Mark Flynn. Gator, let me come over to you first with that.
Creative use for collaboration. I mean, War Games, really. It's just passed. 2 that spark out in my mind is Corey's team and Bob's team. And and Charlie's team as well. I think by far, like the collaboration that happened at War Games is the best I've ever seen. Fucking Alias and Corey, like together as well. Like they blew my fucking mind. Like I don't think you're gonna get better collab IPs than that. Apart from, of course, if you're watching them No Goods Bastards IP, because they're just amazing.
Centurion.
Yeah, the bastards, man. I mean, they nailed the idea of the collab. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I still don't quite know how to really do it. I still feel like I get my the character I'm using wrong every time I write. The bastards, it's just seamless. It almost feels like TK and Bobby are the same person sometimes.
It's
Because
because
we
they
really are.
actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit. That's why when you listen to the podcast,
Damn.
you never hear them speak at the same time.
Cat's out of the fucking bag. Way to give away his secrets, fucking Centurion. Asshole.
Yeah, you
Someone
piece of
had to
shit.
expose those assholes. All right.
Had to be you. It had to be you. JB, give me your most creative use of collaboration.
All right. Piggyback what y'all said. Big love to the No Good Bastards and how they utilize their environment and their talking and everything like that. And also a huge shout out to Betsy and the whole entire fantasy collaboration piece we all like chipped in together for this year's War Games. Like that was the first time I ever did anything outside of the Thugs with one of my characters, working with other people and everything like that. Like just working with them to create a story and everything was just like it was at first very daunting because like not gonna lie, like I can collab with other people, but sometimes if it's like going to be more than like let's say like one person, if I have like more than like say 2, 3, 4 people or so, I feel like it's like okay, there's like that sense of like urgency or that sense of like anxiousness of you don't want to like mess up their character because I from time to time, like just from working with others, it had made me realize that it's very cool to be collaborative with other people outside yourself to bring yourself into that kind of universe of being able to work together. So I would personally say that No Good Bastards and the piece I did with Team Betsy for War Games. So
Okay, let me come around to you, man.
Well, the best collabs I had seen were, unfortunately, from Crapicalism. They actually, they're the reason we formed. They were a solid team. So we wanted to be a solid team as well. You know, you got to have that to take on a solid team, right?
Sir.
So I'll give them a nod.
You can cut that, TK.
I want to so bad, but I won't.
Oh, I mean, we just did our thing. It was a fun little stretch. I think we have kind of nailed down the tag team aspect of e-fetting and the rundown of the XWF. I want to say to Gator and JB, thanks for being on time for this. I want to say to Centurion, fuck you for being late. And I want to say to TK, thank you, sir, for letting me know that you would be late.
Yep.
There's no
I've
such
had fun
thing
with
as
you.
late. I show up exactly when I need to.
You know what?
Yes.
All right. I'll take solace in that. Guys, that will do it, man. I guess the only thing left to do is to kick it over to our sponsor, Vinny Lane, so he can take us out.
From now, tomorrow, and forever, fuck you, Ghost Tank.
Thanks for listening to the XWF Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the XWF YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at XWF1999. And don't forget to check us out at XWF99.com. Be sure to join us next time where the action never slows down.